Hello, hello, hello. Give you a second for it to start working. Hello, 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 everyone. Let's see when this starts going. Perfect. Yay! All right, it's working. Hi, everyone. Hi, Bill. Hi, Lucas. You guys are the first two to join. I hope you guys are having a good Thursday. It's almost the weekend. Yay! So today we're doing a video around socializing sober. And right when you guys start logging on, let me know where you are watching from. And then as I go throughout the video, I like to make some time for questions, Q&A. So if you have any questions as we go through this, let me know, and I'd be more than happy to answer. So I'm going to start my other phone. I have two phones going right now. You might see me looking back and forth. So let me start this one really quick. Hold on, I'm not sure if I know how to. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. One moment. All right, hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. We have two screens going here, one Instagram, one TikTok. And as you guys log on, feel free to share where you are watching from. And I'm just gonna go ahead and jump on in. So the topic today is about socializing sober. So who here, let me know in the comments, is sober curious, and let me know how you feel socializing sober. So when I decided to stop drinking, the first time I was in a bar with my friends and they were drinking, I wasn't, it felt really weird. And I remember I didn't know what to do with my hands because there's always that comfort of like having a drink in your hand, and stuff like that. So that was the first thing that really stood out to me, was like not knowing what to do with my hands. But the more situations I had where I was sober in a bar around alcohol, hi Holland, thanks for joining me. So the more situations I had where I was sober around other people and they were drinking, I learned a few things that I wanted to share today. So let me know if you guys can resonate with this. The first thing that was really important to understand was that being uncomfortable is okay, and it's also understandable. So anytime you do something new, you're gonna be uncomfortable, and that's because you're stepping into the unknown. And when you step into the unknown, it's about learning how to show up and do things a different way. So who here has a business? Let me know, you guys. When I first started my business, I felt uncomfortable. I felt uncomfortable doing live videos. My first live video, I was so cringy. I hated it so much, but now I feel comfortable doing live videos. I remember the first time I posted content, it felt so foreign. It took me probably hours to do one reel. Now I can make one in like 20 seconds. So anytime you do something new, whether it's creating a business or stopping drinking, or maybe going on a first date, it will feel uncomfortable because it's something new for you. It's a new skill you're learning. It's a new way of showing up. And because you don't have a lot of practice or experience showing up in that particular type of way, there will be some growing pains. So let me know if this resonates with you guys. So that's the first thing that's really important to understand, is that being uncomfortable when you're sober in a social situation, it's actually a really good thing, because that means you're doing something different. It means you're breaking a pattern that didn't serve you. And because you're doing something different, you're able to create different results. And what I mean by different results, you're able to go out and have fun with your friends and get home, have a good night's sleep, and wake up and feel rested and energized the next morning. You're able to remember everything that happened, and you're no longer waking up with guilt, blame, or shame. You're able to build deeper relationships and get away from just those surface level conversations. So the fact that you're doing something different means that you can create different results. So hello everyone that's joining me. Hello, hello. Hello, Amy. Hi, Dina. So that's the first thing, socializing sober. It's normal to feel uncomfortable, but this being uncomfortable is a good thing. The second thing, when people ask you how or why you're not drinking, Ice Cool Dad said, well, it's a fun name. I'm sober curious from the UK. I still need that bottle of alcohol-free beer in the hand. Okay, yeah. So that's So you mentioned on here that you still have alcohol-free beer and have something in your hand when you go out. I always love having like a mocktail or an NA drink just because I want something to drink, you know? And sometimes like I want something fancier than water. So having something that gives you that comfort of holding something in your hand, and it could be any different type of non-alcoholic beverage. Totally embrace that if that feels good. And super awesome 69. Do you go to bars and not drink? I do. So I used to live in Nashville, and in Nashville, it's a music city. There's a lot of bars. It's our culture. And it was fun to go out. I loved listening to live music and dancing. So yeah, I went out to bars. I'd have NA beer or a mocktail, or one of my favorite things I have is just like sparkling water with a lime. It's easy. It works. So yeah, I do go to bars. I notice I don't stay as late, and I'm not hungover the next day, which is awesome. Okay, we have more questions coming in. Da, da, da. All right, guys. Perfect. Yeah. Rival Sign says, I play music in bars and I'm sober. It's possible. It is possible. And I've started to meet more people who are sober when I do go out because now I'm conscious of it. If you're right now going to bars, maybe you're drinking, maybe not. There might be people surrounding you who are sober and you just might never know because you weren't looking for it, right? And something that's been interesting in my life is when I embraced being alcohol free, and that's almost 4 years ago now, I thought I was the only one in my group of friends and my family that didn't drink. But I didn't even know that one of my friends who was my brand photographer in Nashville before we moved, she didn't drink either. And I had no idea. And I was like, how did I not know this before? Because I wasn't conscious of it. I wasn't looking for it. And the longer I was on the journey, more people started showing up in my life that were either sober curious or alcohol free. So it's interesting that when you choose to embrace something, and let's use a different example. Let's use a business example. Hi, Flavian. So when you choose to do something new, like start a business, when you do that, you'll start to meet other people in your life who have a similar passion for creating their own business or have their own business. So the more that you embrace your new identity and show up in that type of identity, the more you'll notice those people around you who are very similar and attract other like-minded people into your life. So, hi, Phil. With that being said, think about, okay, when you stop drinking, if right now there's a lot of people around you who are still drinking and you want more sober friends, think about where you can go and how you can be more proactive in creating those types of relationships. So maybe going to the bar, you don't really enjoy it. So think about what can you do instead. One thing that I've loved doing, and being alcohol-free has helped me to do this, is just to explore new passions or hobbies that I have. So one of the things that I have been doing is paddleboarding. We just moved to Charlotte and the Lake District, so I go a few times a week. I've joined a paddleboard club, so I've met a lot of friends who have a similar interest. And now I'm not sure if all of them are sober, most of them aren't, but that's okay. As long as you find people who have similar values and do things that you enjoy doing, that's what you can focus building those relationships on. So to find more people who are like-minded and do similar things that you do, think about how you can be more intentional about putting yourself in those types of spaces. What clubs can you join? Where can you volunteer? Who can you connect with? And when you think about building relationships from a more intentional place, that's when you're able to meet the people who you'll want to have those relationships with. Hi, Karen. All right, guys, let me know if you guys have any questions. I got 2 screens going right now. You might see me looking back and forth. We have Instagram and TikTok over here. Okay, so that's another thing with socializing sober is be more intentional about how you spend your time and what places you're going to socialize. And I found like being in nature is something I really enjoy doing. And a lot of people who also enjoy doing that as well, drinking is not a focal point in their life. Maybe it's something they do occasionally, but when you're out hiking and on the water, drinking just doesn't make that much sense. So, so when you are socializing and you're doing it sober, be intentional about what you do and try to find new ways to meet people, but also realizing that, so Brian, It can get comfortable with being, yeah. So getting comfortable with being uncomfortable, that's a really good thing. So that kind of goes back to what I mentioned earlier, how when you first do something, it's going to be uncomfortable because you're stepping into the unknown. But the more that you allow yourself to do things that are new, to embrace the unknown, that's how you start to create something new. And when you start to put yourself in a lot of places that are new and are uncomfortable, you'll start to almost enjoy feeling uncomfortable because you know it's growth, right? You'll know that you're doing something that has meaning. So when I say that, the life that you are creating is of your own unique design. And when you're able to really like take the reins of your life and be a conscious creator of your reality, it's understanding that, okay, what you do and who you are determines the relationships that you have, what you're able to experience, the success that you have, and everything like that. When you're able to fully embrace that, it's knowing that in order to have that, what you want in every area of your life, in order to have that, you have to be able to step out of your comfort zone. And in doing that, it's about creating more opportunities that were not available for you before. And if you know that drinking is not serving you, let's say it's getting in the way of your mental health, of the relationships, of the success, of just the life that you want. If it's blocking you in any way, it's important to know that doing something different and being open to being uncomfortable is what will create that change. So this is something that I'm really passionate about, because for a lot of people and a lot of my clients that I work with, when we first start, they have the knowing that where they are right now in their life is not where they want to be. But there's this type of uncomfortable comfort when you're stuck in a pattern that isn't serving you because it's practiced. And because it's practiced, you know what's going to happen, right? You know what's going to happen if you go out drinking all night. You know how you'll feel the next day. Even if it's not good, you just know what's going to happen. So it feels safer, right? If you always come home after work and have a few glasses of wine or some beer, you know that the next day you'll feel kind of groggy, maybe a little tired. So those patterns feel comfortable because you've spent time being in them and living them. But the truth is, if that's not what you want, you have to be willing to be uncomfortable to experience something different. And when you do that, when you give yourself the opportunity to actually see what else is available, that's when you can change your life. All right, awesome. So I'm so happy this resonates. And let me know over here on Instagram if you have any questions. TikTok, people are always good at typing them in. So who here ever, when you go to a bar, has gotten a question, someone says, well, why aren't you drinking? Let me know. I know you guys can all resonate with that. And when I first stopped, that was like the dreaded question. I was like, oh my gosh, how will I respond? Okay, so Wings of Glory, thanks for being here. 120 days sober. Yay! Congratulations, that's awesome. Everywhere, not even in, yeah, so getting that question everywhere. Yeah, okay. So the first time I got that question, I remember being like, oh, like tripping over my words. It doesn't have to be a big thing. And I made it a big thing because deep down I knew, or now I know, I wasn't comfortable being sober yet. So when you're not comfortable with a decision that you make, or if you're still trying to embrace some type of change, if someone asks you about it, it might be hard to respond because you're still trying to figure out how to show up in that new identity. So that's the first thing. It's important to take that pressure off of your back and to realize that you are learning how to navigate these situations sober. You're learning how to show up and how to have conversations and how to have fun without alcohol. And that type of in-between, it can feel kind of messy because you're still trying to learn how to show up that way and trying to gain that confidence yourself. When people ask you, you might not feel confident responding because you don't have it all figured out yet. So that's the first thing that's really important to realize. If it doesn't feel natural how to respond or you don't know what to say, that's okay. the more that you lean into a new identity, and we're talking about stopping drinking, the more you embrace being alcohol-free and being sober while socializing, the more that you do that and the more comfortable that it gets, the easier it will be to respond, because you will have, number one, proven to yourself that it's worth it and have the confidence in how to show up that way. So that's something just to keep in mind, but I want to give you advice on how to respond. Keep it as simple as you can. I just said I'm doing it for my health. Or you could say, yeah, I'm doing a 30-day challenge. Or you can say, yeah, I am focusing on my career. Keep it super simple. And if it helps, have a response ready before you even go out. Because when you're trying something new, there's already a lot of pressure on you to try to show up and a lot of things you have to figure out. The last thing you want to do is have to worry about what other people are thinking or having to respond to that question. So have a canned response ready. So when people ask you, you're able to just share it. So in the beginning, like I mentioned, I would say, yeah, I'm just taking a break to see how I feel. And after like a few years in, when people ask me now, I don't even give them a reason. I just say, because I don't. And the confidence I have now sharing it is way different than it was before, because I feel confident as a person who doesn't drink. I know that this was the best choice for me. I'm really happy with it. So it's just simply not a part of my identity, and that's just it. So even try that one, just being like, yeah, I don't. Why do you? So yeah, let me know if that resonates, you guys. Okay. Some more people joining. Hi, Joshua. Hi, Hillary. All right. And something else to keep in mind, and let me know as we go through this what questions you have about socializing sober and maybe being around friends who drink when you don't. Okay, yeah. Okay. My other point I wanted to make was when people ask, at first I used to think that they were judging me, but I realized my friends are good people. Keep that in mind. And I would assume that your friends are too, or else I don't know why you'd be friends with them. People are curious. When my friend from college gave up gluten, she realized she was, I think it's called celiac. When she stopped eating gluten, I had so many questions. I asked her like, oh, okay, how long is this going to last? What type, it sounds so bad now. What type of alternative breads can you eat? Do you feel better? Is this something I should try? I had a lot of questions. And when she first came to visit me, I had to do some research on different foods I can make for her and stuff like that. We had to look at different restaurants we could go to that she could eat food at. So we had to make some changes. And I was really curious about how this change in her diet affected her and how it made her feel. So think about that. You stopping drinking, when people ask, they're curious. And what I found most is that when people were asking me, it was because that was something that they're considering too. Maybe they're considering it because they've realized that alcohol wasn't serving them and they wanted to make a change. Or maybe they've already tried to cut back and they're curious on like how it was going for me. I even had a person, so she was an acquaintance, like a friend of a friend, so I didn't personally know her. She came up to me in a bar. I was sober. She was not. And she's like, Nicole, I gotta talk to you. I see you're sober. Like, I've been wanting to do that for so long. So I've had people do that as well. So when you embrace what's good for you and you allow yourself to truly honor what's best for you, other people will start to notice. And when you stop drinking, there are so many positive transformations that come from it. And when people start to see that, they start to see the external results and the transformation of what stopping drinking does for you, they'll want to know, like, how'd you do that? How'd you feel that good? How'd you look that good? Like, what is your secret? So that's really important to keep in mind. And I wish someone would have told me that at first, because I thought people were attacking me when they asked questions. I thought that they were judging me. I thought they thought less of me, but they were just curious, right? Or Hillary said, yes, people always want to learn, to let them know it's okay if they're interested in stopping too. Yep. So people just want to know. And especially with our society right now, we are more open to having conversations around how alcohol actually impacts us. And I might be a bit biased when I say this because I'm in the alcohol-free space, but there are more people waking up to the fact that alcohol, there's really no benefit, like health-wise, absolutely none. And when you think about how it impacts the other areas of your life, everything from like your mental health to your sleep, to your relationships, to your success, when you're able to truly like take a step back and look at all the minor ways that it impacts you, we're starting to wake up and see like, oh, maybe it's not the elixir of life. Maybe it's not the thing on the pedestal that marketing sells us that we need to have a good time and to enjoy ourselves and feel more confident. When you're able to step back from all the messages in our society that glamorize it, and most of that is for marketing dollars, when you're able to take a step back from that and truly see how it impacts you, that's when you can change your life. And I think that's a really important point. Let me know in the comments, when you saw like marketing messages, did that align with how you experienced drinking? And what I mean by that, like I saw TV shows of like people having fun and going out drinking. I'm like, yeah, I want that, right? So I'd go out and drinking and it'd be fun for like the first hour or two when you'd have the initial buzz. But then like when I would drink too much, I would black out. There'd be anxiety, there'd be the guilt, there'd be the hangover. And it felt like there was like a tiny bit of like fun and like, oh, this is so exciting. But then it was just like, whoa. So the messages of the life I was shown through advertisements and stuff like that, that's not what I experienced. And I think that's why, or actually I know that's why I stayed drinking, mainly just in social situations, like on the weekends and stuff. I stayed in those patterns for so long, even when I knew it wasn't good for me, because everyone else around me, they were all drinking, right? And I thought I had to do it to have fun. I thought there's no way you could go to a bar and enjoy yourself sober. No, that's not possible. So when you know that you want more out of life and you quit drinking, it's so important to surround yourself with people, with social media accounts, with books, podcasts that glamorize sobriety and being alcohol-free. And why that's so important is because you have to create the belief that having a life where you are loving it, where you are living to your fullest, when you're successful, have great relationships, and when you're healthy, and doing that alcohol-free, seeing how all that is possible for you is so important. Because you first have to create a belief that something is possible for you and see evidence of it before you're able to create that result. So that right there is really important. And when I started my alcohol-free journey, I was actually working with a business coach. And she was like, do you think drinking is getting in the way of the success that you want? I'm like, yes, it is. Like I knew it was, and I was so determined to see the success of my business that I knew it was possible for me. I was like, okay, let's give up drinking. And we decided to do no alcohol for 6 months at first. That's what I did. And then after those 6 months, I'm like, this is great. And crazy enough, I was a relationship coach before, and going through my own healing journey, I focused on removing alcohol, learning how to show up without it, healing, learning healthier stress relief techniques. Going through all of that, I saw how you have to heal your relationship with alcohol and yourself first before you can work on your other relationships or the success you want. You are fundamental. And until you're able to release an unhealthy relationship with alcohol or any unhealthy vices, this could be social media, it could be porn, it could be binge watching TV, you have to release whatever is blocking you from having that better relationship with yourself first. And that's why I transitioned in the sobriety space, because your relationships all build on your relationship with yourself. And until you address your relationship with alcohol, nothing will change. Okay, Christopher, the only show the initial stimulus effect, not the longer depression's after effect. Yes, they show the before. So there's like a before and after. It's like, here's the before, and the after there's like No, we're not going to show them that. They'll figure it out on their own. But yeah, that's why it's so enticing, because you see that picture of what it could be, and maybe it is for a few minutes or so. But then the after effect, is it worth it? No. And being honest, there were some times that like I had fun when drinking. It did bring some benefit to my life, but I knew overall the little benefit that it did bring was not worth keeping, because the life I have now is so much better. So that small benefit I got when I was drinking, the benefit I have now is so much better. Hey, Kelsey. All right, let me know any questions. Okay. So let me know. Hillary said, yes, people always want to learn, to let them know it's okay if they're interesting. Yep. All right. Thank you for all these questions, guys. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, perfect. So I caught up on those. All right. So something else to keep in mind. Something else to keep in mind when you think about like being in social situations and being alcohol free is this a situation that you want to be in? Like, how do you want to spend your time? And is this something that supports it? So when you go out and you socialize, bars and stuff like that, think about how do you want to experience that time? Maybe there are different things you want to do. Maybe you want to be out in nature more. Maybe you want to be in the gym more. It's about having that freedom to decide what is best for you. And 88 days, I see, wonderful. And when you do that, and when you allow yourself to take a step back from those patterns that you've always been in and think about what it is you actually want to spend your time doing, that's when you'll start to find more relationships that are not centered around drinking. And it can be really simple. I remember being an adult is kind of weird, right? And especially trying to make friends as an adult, it can feel even harder. And then you remove booze from the equation. It's like, holy crap, what are we going to do? So when you think about trying to create relationships without alcohol, it's just about being more intentional about like what you enjoy doing and then doing that more. And like we talked about earlier, it's about being okay with being uncomfortable. Maybe there's a new skill you want to learn, or a new sport you want to try, but you haven't done that before. You have to be willing to put yourself out there and try new things, because until you do that, you won't be able to experience new results and new relationships because of that. So with that being said, hi guys, hi Brian, hi Misty. With that being said, just think about if you had to redefine how you spent your social time, what would that look like? And it's important to be open to things that you haven't done before. And that's how you're able to put yourselves in new rooms to meet new people. Okay, awesome. Let me know if you guys have any more questions. Hi, Brian. So that's about gonna wrap it up, about our half an hour mark. But I guess the main thing I want to say to you guys is, if at first it feels uncomfortable doing something, that's okay. If you know that releasing alcohol or releasing another habit that isn't good for you, if you know that you have to make a change, do that trusting that you will figure it out, because you have to start the path before you know the end destination, right? And especially with stopping drinking, so much is the unknown that when you just start to take a few steps, the next steps will reveal themselves to you. And especially when it comes to being more confident without alcohol, it's knowing that just start where you are. Start to take those first steps. And when you do that, you'll start to see things that you can work on, things that you want to maybe address, and then you'll gain more confidence. Then you'll feel more comfortable, and then you'll just know how to show up. Okay, awesome. Hi, Patrick. I'm almost done, but I might post this replay. Okay, perfect. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I have my two screens going here, Instagram and TikTok. This video was all about how to enjoy socializing when you're sober. And as you embrace maybe being sober curious or maybe being alcohol free, whatever feels good for you, allow yourself to be curious. Be curious about, okay, how can I enjoy myself in this situation? What else can I do for fun? And also give yourself grace and space, because anytime you try something new, it will be a bit scary. It'll feel a bit uncomfortable, and you're not going to get it right the first time, right? Have that grace and space, but know that if this is a change that you want to make, then it's worth it. And allow yourself to follow through on that. Let me see if I have any more questions. Let me know. You guys can text them if you want on the chat. I have a few that people asked. I think, actually, it's on this topic. Yeah. The main one that I had the other day is what to do if you feel uncomfortable socializing sober. So if you are in an environment where you are feeling uncomfortable socializing sober, take a moment and create some space for yourself. So I'd recommend going in the bathroom. Normally, wherever you are, there is a bathroom. This could be a bar, someone's house. Take that space for yourself. And when you do that, do some breath work. So why I love breath work, and you can do breath work for stress relief, you can do it for feeling more confident and stuff like that. But what it can help you do in this specific moment is to help you center yourself and to release any nerves that you have. So the technique we're going to use is called pursed lip breathing. You can try it with me. So what you're going to do is place one hand on your chest and one hand on your diaphragm, which is your lower ribs, upper stomach. And just breathe in through your nose for 2 seconds. Breathe out through pursed lips for 4. Breathe in for 2. Breathe out for 4. And try that right now as long as you're not driving. I feel like I should say that. When you're breathing in through your nose, make sure you're breathing into your diaphragm. So you want your belly to rise on the inhale. And when you exhale, breathing out through pursed lips, it's like you're breathing out through a straw. Make sure your belly is falling. So that's the best piece of advice I can give you for that. Go in the bathroom, do some rounds of pursed lip breathing. And when you do that, you can do it for about 2 minutes or whatever feels better. You'll start to feel in your body when you feel more centered. And doing that just allows you to refocus. Then take some time being like, okay, I got this. Do some motivational self-talk. I can get through this. And then the more that you're able just to show up in those situations when you're alcohol-free in a environment where maybe other people are drinking, the more that you do that sober, the more comfortable it will be. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I think I'm going to download this replay and post it on Instagram. So my TikTok people, feel free to come watch it there. My Instagram people, it will be there for you. All right, guys, thanks for joining. Bye. Oh, I gotta join this one too. Bye, guys.